हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम। ओम गणानाहं त्वा गणपतिगुं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पदानः शृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनम्। ओम श्री महागणपतये नमः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे श्रीगुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ श्री शङ्कराचार्य स्वामिने नमः। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम।
नमस्ते महोदय।
नमस्ते।
अनुपमा भट्ट भगिनी।
सत्वं रजस्तम इति गुण सत्वं रजस्तम इति गुणाः प्रकृति संभवाः निबध्नन्ति महाबाहो देहे देहिनमव्ययम्।
निबध्नन्ति
निबध्नन्ति महाबाहो देहे देहिनमव्ययम्।
गुड।
विजयलक्ष्मी भगिनी।
नमस्ते महोदय।
नमस्ते।
तत्र सत्त्वं निर्मलत्वात् प्रकाशकमनामयं सुखसङ्गेन बध्नाति ज्ञानसङ्गेन चानघ।
गुड।
राजेश्वरी शिवशंकर भगिनी।
नमस्ते महोदय।
नमस्ते।
रजो रागात्मकौ विद्धि तृष्णा संगसमुद्भवम् तन्निबध्नाति कौन्तेय कर्मसङ्गेन देहिनम्।
गुड।
कृष्ण पावनी भगिनी।
नमस्ते महोदय।
नमस्ते।
तमस्तज्ञानजौ विद्धि मोहनं सर्वदेहिनां प्रमादालस्य निद्राभिः तन्निबध्नाति भारत।
फर्स्ट लाइन अगेन।
तमस्त्वज्ञानजौ विद्धि
तमस्त
मोहनं
is tam. I heard it tamat. Tamast. Tamah tu अज्ञानजम।
तमस्त्वज्ञानजौ विद्धि मोहनं सर्वदेहिनां प्रमादालस्य निद्राभिः तन्निबध्नाति भारत।
गुड।
लक्ष्मी बीवी भगिनी। ओके, शीला शिंदे भगिनी।
रजस्तमश्चाभिभूय सत्वं भवति भारत। रजः सत्वं तमश्चैव तमः सत्वं रजस्तथा।
गुड। नेक्स्ट।
साई लक्ष्मी भगिनी।
नमस्ते महोदय।
नमस्ते।
सर्वद्वारेषु देहेऽस्मिन् प्रकाश उपजायते ज्ञाने यदा तदा विद्यात् विवृद्धं सत्त्वमित्युत।
गुड।
श्री लक्ष्मी भगिनी।
नमस्ते महोदय।
नमस्ते।
लोभ प्रवृत्तिरारंभः कर्मणामशमः स्पृहा ते रजस्येतानि जायन्ते विवृद्धे भरतर्षभ।
I think we have not done this shloka, right?
No, sir, we are not.
No.
Okay, sorry. Yeah. Lobha pravrittirarambah.
लोभ प्रवृत्तिरारंभः लोभ प्रवृत्तिरारम्भः
कर्मणामशमस्पृहा
कर्मणामशमः स्पृहा कर्मणामशमस्पृहा
लोभः प्रवृत्तिरारम्भः कर्मणामशमस्पृहा
लोभः प्रवृत्तिरारम्भः कर्मणामशमस्पृहा लोभः प्रवृत्तिरारम्भः कर्मणामशमस्पृहा
Good.
Veena Fanishri Bhagini.
रजस् एतानि जायन्ते
नमस्ते महोदय
नमस्ते
रजस्येतानि जायन्ते रजस्येतानि जायन्ते
विवृद्धे भरतर्षभ
विवृद्धे भरतर्षभ विवृद्धे भरतर्षभ
रजस् एतानि जायन्ते विवृद्धे भरतर्षभ
रजस्येतानि जायन्ते विवृद्धे भरतर्षभ रजस्येतानि जायन्ते विवृद्धे भरतर्षभ
Good. Next.
Kashmira Bhagini.
लोभः प्रवृत्तिरारम्भः कर्मणामशमस्पृहा
लोभः प्रवृत्तिरारम्भः कर्मणामशमस्पृहा लोभः प्रवृत्तिरारम्भः कर्मणामशमस्पृहा
Good. Next.
Srimati Bhagini.
रजस्येतानि जायन्ते विवृद्धे भरतर्षभ
नमस्ते सर
नमस्ते
रजस्येतानि जायन्ते विवृद्धे भरतर्षभ रजस्येतानि जायन्ते विवृद्धे भरतर्षभ
Good. Next.
Sharat Chavan Mahodaya.
लोभः प्रवृत्तिरारम्भः कर्मणामशमस्पृहा रजस्येतानि जायन्ते विवृद्धे भरतर्षभ
लोभ प्रवृत्तिरारम्भः कर्मणामशमस्पृहा रजस्येतानि जायन्ते विवृद्धे भरतर्षभ
Good. Next.
Usha Srinivasan Bhagini.
Full shloka once.
नमस्ते महोदय
Namaste.
लोभः प्रवृत्तिरारम्भः कर्मणामशमस्पृहा रजस्येतानि जायन्ते विवृद्धे भरतर्षभ
Good. Next.
Raja Lakshmi Bhagini.
नमस्ते महोदय
Namaste.
लोभः प्रवृत्तिरारम्भः कर्मणामशमस्पृहा रजस्येतानि जायन्ते विवृद्धे भरतर्षभ
Good. One more person.
Lalita Bhagini.
लोभः प्रवृत्तिरारम्भः कर्मणामशमस्पृहा रजस्येतानि जायन्ते विवृद्धे भरतर्षभा.
Okay, good. So we have been now looking at how the various gunas will be impacting the individual. Okay, so we said that the three gunas, sattva guna, rajo guna, and tamasa guna. Bhagavan is now analyzing these three gunas across 5 dimensions. I'm sure that all of you are pretty clear about that. And yesterday we had discussed about what kind of behaviors you can see and what kind of bondage each one of these gunas are going to provide to the individual. And he is now continuing in terms of the same thing only is continuing. What kinds of thing that he is going to give. Now, if you look at that, yesterday we saw that in the case of Sattva Guna person, Sarvad Asmin Dehe Sarvadvareshu Prakasha Upajayate, he will be able to keep all his five senses absolutely sharp. He'll be able to gather information and knowledge from across the five senses. Because if you look at that way, entire knowledge that we are getting is all from the five senses and the mind and then the buddhi. Oh, this person is going to be absolutely capable of smartly getting and comprehending informations and knowledge through his five senses. Okay. Then for these people, they are having a kind of a sattvam vivruddham. They are going to have a dominance of sattvam. So we are now talking three gunas, sattvam, rajas, and tamas. Okay, now if you look at that way, all the people will be having a combination of sattva, raja, and tamo gunas. Only thing is that the ratio of sattva, tamas, and rajo can vary depending upon an individual. I think we were discussing about the consciousness, original consciousness, reflected consciousness, all those things. I'll not do it now. You'll be able to refer it to the information which I have provided. Okay, now if you look at a sattva guna person, he is having a kind of a dominance of sattva guna. So you can perhaps take it as a thumb rule. Okay, it is not 100% correct, but you can take the thumb rule that a person who is sattvic may have 70% sattva guna, 20% rajo guna, and 10% tamo guna. You can also understand that a sattva guna person will be followed by a rajo guna only. Okay, a sattva 70%, and a rajo of 20%, and tamo of 10%. That is the kind of constitution you have. Okay. So a sattva guna person will have 70% dominance, 70% of sattva guna, and dominance is only by sattva. And sattva, in the earlier shloka, we said that will be able to rajas tamascha abhibhuya. It is going to sattva guna that he is having, he is going to dominate over rajaguna and tamo guna. Rajas tamascha abhibhuya. Abhibhuya means overwhelming. Sattvam will be coming up. So in this particular person, sarvadvarishu person, sattva guna is capable of dominating over rajoguna and tamo guna, where sattva is 70%. You can take it as a thumb rule. Don't take it as the absolute value of 70%. 20% followed by rajaguna, and 10% tamo guna. You will not find a person who is having a dominance of sattva guna having the next dominance by tamo guna. It is not possible to have. A person who is having sattva guna, he knows that he will not be wasting his time in terms of laziness, lethargy, negligence, ignorance, all those things. He will not do it. So sattva guna of dominant sattva guna will always be followed only by a rajo guna, not tamo guna. So in this particular person, he is capable of getting all kinds of jnana. Jnana means not necessarily the atma jnana. Any kind of jnana. He may be sitting in the class and he'll be able to absorb what the teacher is telling very quickly. He may be sitting in a kind of chanting competition. Within 2 rounds, he'll be able to chant the shloka by heart. So that is the level to which his senses are so sharp in terms of getting the knowledge. That is the kind of characteristic of a sattva guna person. Okay. Now, next person is, we are talking about rajo guna. So in this case, you may have to say that rajo guna is 70%. Followed by 20% of sattva guna and 10% of tamo guna. Let us take it that way to begin with. Okay, because there is also a combination possible. Rajo guna 70%, 20% tamo guna, and 10% of sattva guna, where rajas is topmost, followed by tamas, and then sattva being the lowest. Another combination is rajas being the topmost 70%, followed by sattva, and followed by tamas. So we'll analyze these two also, try to understand these two also. When a person is going to be driven by desires in this world, then what is the thing? He's going to be always looking for, right from morning to evening, he is selfishly driven by things. So he has got a tendency for lobha, greed. So he has got a greed and he has pravritti arambha. He is always, absolutely physically restless. In this case, you should take that physically he wants to be restless in terms of getting into karma. And pravritti arambha karmanam, he always starts a kind of action, he's always in action, and he's restless and he wants to do action always. And ashama spruha, shamaha means able to have a control over the mind. Yeah, Ashabha means he is not able to have a control over the mind. His mind is also restless. His body is also restless. He is continuously greedy. He is always wanting to be selfishly getting lot and lot of things for himself. So in this particular case, what happens? Please understand that etani rajaha vivrutte. In this particular person, rajas is going to be on the higher side. But rajas, in this case, when it is followed by tamas, this is the kind of behavior you'll be having because he is ruthlessly selfish. Okay, that is the, if you remember that we have discussed about the 5 stages of bhakti. The first stage of bhakti, we said that a person is always rajas but with selfish interest. So this is the kind of person who is selfishly interested, which means that he has got rajas, but it is not followed by tamas of sattva of 20%, but he has got 70% rajas followed by tamas of 20% because he is not trying to utilize his understanding of jnana, and then he's also not able to understand how he has got to have a right goal of life apart from materialistic life, how he can also have a spiritual life for his own personal growth, because he has to understand the purpose of living is something more than that. So that kind of person is going to be selfishly driven. Okay, so that is what this particular sloka says. Lobha pravritti arambha karmana ashamaspruha rajaha etani jayante Vivrute Bharatarshava. So he is going to be greedy, he is going to be continuously restless with physical body, he is going to be also absolutely restless, his mind also ashamaha, spruha, he always wants to grab things, and this is what is going to happen when Rajas is going to be having a higher level. When Rajas is suppressing Sattva and Tamoguna, this is what is going to happen. Okay, next.
Mrinalini Gopalan Bagini.
Aprakasho pravrittischa.
अप्रकाशो प्रवृत्तिश्च अप्रकाशो प्रवृत्तिश्च
Pramado moha eva cha.
प्रमादो मोह एव च प्रमादो मोह एव च
Aprakasho pravrittischa. Pramado moha eva cha.
अप्रकाशो प्रवृत्तिश्च प्रमादो मोह एव च अप्रकाशो प्रवृत्तिश्च प्रमादो मोह एव च.
Next.
Rajalakshmi Bagini.
Tamas etani jayante.
तमस्येतानि जायन्ते तमस्येतानि जायन्ते
Vivruddhe kuru nandana.
विवृद्धे कुरु नन्दन विवृद्धे कुरु नन्दन
Tamas etani jayante. Vivruddhe kuru nandana.
तमस्येतानि जायन्ते विवृद्धे कुरु नन्दन तमस्येतानि जायन्ते विवृद्धे कुरु नन्दन.
Good. Next.
Krishna Pavani Bagini.
Aprakasho pravrittischa. Pramado moha eva cha.
अप्रकाशो प्रवृत्तिश्च प्रमादो मोह एव च अप्रकाशो प्रवृत्तिश्च प्रमादो मोह एव च.
Good. Next.
Vijayalakshmi Bagini.
Tamas etani jayante. Vivruddhe kuru nandana.
तमस्येथानि जायन्ते विवृद्धे कुरु नन्दन तमस्येथानि जायन्ते विवृद्धे कुरु नन्दन.
Next.
Sri Lakshmi Bagini.
अप्रकाशो प्रवृष्टिश्च प्रमादो मोह एव च तमस्येतानि जायन्ते विवृद्धे कुरु नन्दन
अप्रकाशो प्रवृत्तिश्च प्रमादो मोह एव च तमस्येतानि जायन्ते विवृद्धे कुरु नन्दन.
Good. Next.
Rajalakshmi Bhagini.
Full shloka once.
अप्रकाशो प्रवृत्तिश्च प्रमादो मोह एव च तमस्येतानि जायन्ते विवृद्धे कुरु नन्दन.
Good. Next.
Rajeshwari Shivashankar Bhagini.
अप्रकाशो प्रवृत्तिश्च प्रमादो मोह एव च तमस्येतानि जायन्ते विवृद्धे कुरु नन्दन.
Good. Next, one more person.
Veena Fanishri Bhagini.
अप्रकाशो प्रवृत्तिश्च प्रमादो मोह एव च तमस्येतानि जायन्ते विवृद्धे कुरु नन्दन.
Good. So when the shloka number 6, we have seen that Tatra Sattvam Nirmalatvat Prakashakam Anamayam. We found that a Sattva person is Prakashakam, is bright. You find that in a school also, you find there are some bright students. Even when you have a debate in the TV, there are some bright people. No? They are very sharp. They understand a lot of things and talk sense and put in a lot of rightful thinking, etc. So they are very smart and bright people. So when defining the Sattva Guna, in Shloka 6, Bhagavan has told, Tatra Sattvam Nirmalatvat Prakashakam Anamayam Sukha Sangena Bhatnati Jnana Sangena Chanaga. So they are bright people, smart people. When you are talking about this guy, who is that? The Tamas fellow, who is having Tamas dominant by 70%, Tamas cannot be followed by Sattva. Tamas will invariably only maximum it has got to be followed only by Rajas, and then comes Tamas. So sorry, Sattva. So these kinds of people, Tamoguna people, will we have to understand that 70% of them is Tamas, 20% Rajas, because they'll get up and then go to the dining table, have some food, and then eat something, watch TV sitting in the couch, then again go and sleep. Okay, so they have some activity they'll do. Otherwise, they'll just go. They will not be bothered about what is happening, what is knowledge, what I have to do, what I have to do, what tomorrow, how I plan my future, how I become, how do I use my time very efficiently. Nothing they are bothered. Utega, Kana Kayega, TV Dekaga, then they'll go and just lie down. That kind of, I'm the extreme character I'm just telling you. So they are absolutely aprakasha. They are not at all smart. There's no brightness in these people. And then apravrutischa. The previous shloka we said, no? The previous shloka we said that lobaha pravrutihi. So these people, they want to start something. They want to pravruti. In this case, we have to understand that they want to get into some kind of action in the world. When they're awake, they want to get into some action. Pravruti. Look at this fellow, aprakasha, absolutely dull. There is no brightness in him. Apravritticha does not want to engage himself in any kind of activities. Aprakasha, apravritticha, pramadaha, negligence. He would have kept something in the gas and came and sat in front of the TV, and the milk will be boiling, milk will get poured off. This fellow will be just watching. Negligence. He will go out without taking the key. He'll go on, forget the purse. All those kinds of characters. No, I'm just giving you examples. You'll be able to imagine. So, aprakashaha, apravrittischaha, pramadaha, negligence, moha. Moha means wrong understanding of things. He does not have a very good clarity of thinking process. Clarity of thinking process comes only when a person is able to use knowledge which he gains from all the senses, and then able to analyze them and use the buddhi, and then have a conversation, intellectual conversation with people. Then they'll be able to improve their own clarity. They'll be able to get much better clarity. But this guy, Moha, he does not do anything. So he has got all wrong understanding, wrong wrong way of looking at things, etc. So aprakashah, apravrittischa, pramadah, moha, evacha. These are all the things when tamas viruddhe, when tamas guna, tamo guna is going to be dominant, then all these things are going to be the reflection that is going to be in the individual. Okay, so this is the other classification of the three things. So you are able to understand sattva guna characteristic, then you are also able to understand rajoguna characteristic, and you are also now able to understand the what is that the tamo guna characteristic. Okay, now we'll go forward.
Sai Lakshmi Bhagini.
Yada sattve pravruddhe tu
यदा सत्त्वे प्रवृद्धेतु यदा सत्त्वे प्रवृद्धेतु
प्रलयं याति देहभृत्
प्रलययाति देहभृत् प्रलययाति देहभृत्
यदा सत्त्वे प्रवृद्धे तु प्रलयं याति देहभृत्
यदा सत्त्वे प्रवृद्धेतु प्रलययाति देहभृत् यदा सत्त्वे प्रवृद्धेतु प्रलययाति देहभृत्.
Good. Next.
Sharat Chavan Mahodaya.
तदोत्तमविदान् लोकान्
तदोत्तमविदा लोकान्
अमलान् प्रतिपद्यते
अमलान् प्रतिपद्यते
तदोत्तमविदान् लोकान् अमलान् प्रतिपद्यते
तदोत्तमविदान् लोकान् अमलान् प्रतिपद्यते तदोत्तमविदा लोकान् अमलान् प्रतिपद्यते.
Next.
Anupama Bhatt Bhagini.
यदा सत्त्वे प्रवृद्धे तु प्रलये याति देहभृत्
यदा सत्त्वे प्रवृद्धे तु प्रलययाति देहभृत् यदा सत्त्वे प्रवृद्धे तु प्रलययाति देहभृत्.
Good. Next.
Srimati Bhagini.
तदोत्तमविदा लोकान् अमलान् प्रतिपद्यते
तदुत्तमविदा लोकान् अमलान् प्रतिपद्यते तदुत्तमविदा लोकान् अमलान् प्रतिपद्यते.
Good. Next.
Kashmira Bhagini.
यदा सत्त्वे प्रवृद्धे तु प्रलये याति देहभृत् तदोत्तमविदा लोकान् अमलान् प्रतिपद्यते
यदा सत्त्वे प्रवृद्धे तु प्रलययाति देहभृत् तदोत्तमविदा लोकान् अमलान् प्रतिपद्यते.
Good. Next.
Sheela Shinde Bhagini.
Shloka once.
यदा सत्त्वे प्रवृद्धे तु प्रलये याति देहभृत् तदोत्तमविदान् लोकान् अमलान् प्रतिपद्यते.
Good. Next.
Usha Srinivasan Bhagini.
Full shloka.
यदा सत्त्वे प्रवृद्धे तु प्रलयं याति देहभृत् तदोत्तमविदान् लोकान् अमलान् प्रतिपद्यते.
Good. One more person.
Veena Phanishri Bhagini.
यदा सत्त्वे प्रवृद्धे तु प्रलययाति देहभृत् तदोत्तमविदाल्लोकान् अमलान् प्रतिपद्यते.
Now, we have now discussed on the three dimensions, we have talked about it. Third dimensions. We are now going to talk on the, I think, third dimension, which is what is going to be the gati. Gati means what is going to happen to the person who has been having a predominant guna like sattvam, rajas, or tamo, and then that person dies. Okay. Now, he is first talking about sattva guna person when he dies. Sattve pravruddhe means the one who is having dominance of sattva. Yada pralayam yati deha vritti. For when, yada means when, deha vritti, for the person who is indwelling person, when pralayam, in this case, pralayam is death. When this person dies, the person who had a sattva domination, when he is dead, when the body is falling, yada sattve pravruddhetu pralayam yanti dehavrite. Then what happens? Tada, that time, uttamavidam lokan, he will be able to get much better lokas in his life. So if you look at that way, we have, as per our scriptures and Vedanta and all the Puranas, there are 7 upper lokas and 7 lower lokas. So we are now in Bhuloka. Okay. And some of the men folk, when they do the pranayama mantra in the Sandhyavanam, no, we do that Om Bhuhu. That is, Bhu is one loka. Om Bhuhu, Om Bhuvaha, Om Suvaha, Om Mahaha, Om Janaha, Om Tapaha, Om Satyam. So 7 lokas. Bhu, Bhuva, Suva, Om Bhuhu, Maha, Janaka, then Tattva, and then Satya. There's the 7 lokas are there. So this particular, that is from Bhuloka, all these things are supposed to be, you are going to better lokas. So this particular person, when this particular person, a person who was having a dominance of Sattva Guna, when his body falls, tada, then Uttamavidam Lokan, he will be able to go to higher lokas, Amalan, where things are much more pure. Malan means impurity. Amalan means without any, that is, it is absolutely pure places or without any impurity. Pratipatyate, they will be able to attain. That is the meaning of this sloka. So that means you have to understand that, be it a Sattva-guna person who is now having, we are talking Sattva-guna person, he is also an Ajnani only. Okay, he is still not a Jnani, because when he is a Jnani, then he becomes a kind of a Jivan Mukta. The Jivan Mukta means he has already understood he has already got self-realization. He is just living in the body till the time the body falls. He is already Jivan Mukta. And then when the body is disposed of after death, he becomes a Videha Mukti also. He is now not having a body, but he has already got realization. But this particular person you are talking about is an Ajnani. So when he is Ajnani, you will understand that the amount of punya these people do is far more, because he is a Sattva Guna person. So punyas are much higher. So we know that, we also studied in the Akshara Brahma Yoga that they will all be going to higher lokas, including Brahma Loka. Te punya masaya surendra lokam attanti gachanti, something we have studied, no? So they will be able to go to higher lokas. They will be able to have a good time there of enjoying all the kinds of whatever they are deserving because of their good deeds in this loka. And then they will once again fall back into the Bhuloka, so that they'll be able to pursue. When they fall back to the Bhuloka, that also we have studied in the 6th chapter, when Arjuna was asking us what is going to happen when I am not able to achieve realization, but in the meantime I die. But based on the things Bhagavan said, when you are already in this yoga, don't worry, you will be able to continue from where you have left. Based on the kind of things that you have progressed in spiritual growth, you will be appropriately put into the right family. Supposing you are a selfish person, karma yogi person, maybe that you have got some punya and papa, probably you will be able to move into the same kind of family, but you will be able to now think of selflessly doing karma yoga in the next life. When you're already a selfless karma yoga person, maybe you will be able to do a Ekarupa Upasana family. Then Aneka Rupa Upasana family, Nirguna Upasana family. Based on the kind of things, when they have gone to the higher lokas and come back, they'll be able to be appropriately put into different kinds of families where the atmosphere will be conducive for them to progress from wherever they have left. So this is what Bhagavan says in the same thing that he told in 8th chapter or something. Is again telling them, if the person is having higher level of sattva guna, yada sattve pravrittetu, pralayam yati deha vrit, when the body falls, pralayam is the case, in here it's called death. Tada uttamavidam lokan, they'll be able to get much better lokas, amalan, without any kind of impurities, pratipatyate, they'll be able to get. So the person with the sattva guna will be able to move up. That is, from the bhuloka, he will be able to move up and up in terms of better lokas, better lives. Okay, that is what is the meaning of this particular shloka. Next.
Rajeshwari Shivshankar Bhagini.
Rajasi pralayam gatva.
रजसि प्रलयं गत्वा रजसि प्रलयं गत्वा
कर्मसङ्गिषु जायते.
कर्मसङ्गिषु जायते कर्मसङ्गिषु जायते
रजसि प्रलयं गत्वा कर्मसङ्गिषु जायते.
रजसि प्रलयं गत्वा कर्मसङ्गिषु जायते रजसि प्रलयं गत्वा कर्मसङ्गिषु जायते.
Good. Next.
Lalita Bhagini.
तथा प्रलीनस्तमसि.
तथा प्रलीनस्तमसि तथा प्रलीनस्तमसि
मूढयोनिषु जायते.
मूढयोनिषु जायते मूढयोनिषु जायते
तथा प्रलीनस्तमसि मूढयोनिषु जायते.
तथा प्रलीनस्तमसि मूढयोनिषु जायते तथा प्रलीनस्तमसि मूढयोनिषु जायते.
Good. Next.
Krishna Pavani Bhagini.
रजसि प्रलयं गत्वा कर्मसङ्गिषु जायते.
रजसि प्रलयं गत्वा कर्मसङ्गिषु जायते रजसि प्रलयं गत्वा कर्मसङ्गिषु जायते.
Good. Next.
Vijayalakshmi Bhagini.
तथा प्रलीनस्तमसि मूढयोनिषु जायते.
तथा प्रलीनस्तमसि मूढयोनिषु जायते तथा प्रलीनस्तमसि मूढयोनिषु जायते.
Good. Next.
Kashmira Bhagini.
रजसि प्रलयं गत्वा कर्मसङ्गिषु जायते. तथा प्रलीनस्तमसि मूढयोनिषु जायते.
रजसि प्रलयं गत्वा कर्मसङ्गिषु जायते तथा प्रलीनस्तमसि मूढयोनिषु जायते.
Good. Next.
Srimati Bhagini.
Full shloka once.
रजसि प्रलयं गत्वा कर्मसङ्गिषु जायते तथा प्रलीनस्तमसि मूढयोनिषु जायते.
Next.
Mrinalini Gopalan Bhagini.
रजसि प्रलयं गत्वा कर्मसङ्गिषु जायते तथा प्रलीनस्तमसि मूढयोनिषु जायते.
One more person.
Sri Lakshmi Bhagini.
Yes, sir. रजसि प्रलयं गत्वा कर्मसङ्गिषु जायते तथा प्रलीनस्तमसि मूढयोनिषु जायते.
So in the earlier shloka, we talked about what happens to a sattva guna person when he dies. Now in this particular shloka, Bhagavan has covered both the people, Rajas as well as tamas, what happens to them when they, what is the gadi for them when they die? Rajasi pralayam gatva, when the rajasic person dies, then what happens? He'll be further be born. He'll be born where? Amongst other karma, the people who are driven to do a lot of things, no? Who are engaged in lot of activities. He'll be born among the group of people who are always having a desire for action. So karma sangishu, the group of people who are engaged or desire of doing karma, he will be getting his birth in that kind of a group or in that kind of a family. Rajasi pralayangatva karma sangishu jayate. Tata, in the same way, pralinaha means on dying, tamasi, the tamas fellow, what happens? Muda Yodishu Jagate, he'll be born in lower order of beings. For example, if you look at that way, a Tamasi person does not have any punya or papa because he doesn't do anything. Only when you do a karma, you may have a punya or papa, all those kinds of things will come. A Tamasi fellow generally will not be able to accrue much punya or accrue much papa. Some people, tamas is also because of the ignorance and still they have rajas is there, they'll be able to become criminals, etc. But let us assume that this fellow is an absolute tamas guy who is not at all much bothered and not engaged in much of punyas and papas. Then what Bhagavan desires is that because we are given him the free will, we are given him the buddhi, we are given him the five senses for getting knowledge. But when this fellow has lived a whole life without using any one of them, what is the purpose for giving him a life of the same kind of nature? It's a wasting, no? It's something like in companies and all, they say we have wasted one resource on given this job to this fellow. So they have to get rid of that fellow. Similarly, here what they do is they give him a lower order of life. What is lower order of life? If you look at plants, if you look at animals, if you look at worms, etc., they also have all these three kinds, sattva, raja, and tamas will be there. If you look at the plant also, it is having a very slow amount of sattva or very low amount of rajas. It has got some amount of sattva, it has also got some amount of rajas because it keeps growing, it keeps producing flowers, fruits, etc. Some level of lower level of sattva and rajas is available in this. When you start looking at an animal will have a higher level of rajas, lower level of, it has also got some intelligence, lower level of sattva, and of course tamas, it is going to sleep for 8 hours or whatever it may be. The animals also are like that. So if you are looking at a very active person, it is going to be an animal kind of a kingdom, or there could be also something that is going to be just crawling slowly like that, worms, etc., where it is absolutely lot more of tamoguna will be there. So he says, what Bhagavan says is that if a person is not able to move up to rajasic or sattvic levels, and he has wasted his entire time only being a tamasic guy, he will be given a lower order of birth, which might be a plant, which may be an animal, which may be a worm, which may be any one of those kinds of creatures. That's what he says. Because those kinds of things, when you do not have a sattvic mindset, you will not be able to come for these kinds of classes. You will not be able to go and sit in a class and then try to understand what is being told, try to understand what else we need to do by learning, whether this learning is useful or not useful, whether what we are talking is logical or illogical. If illogical, I will say that I understood the entire thing, but I feel it is illogical. I got different kind of perception. That's also fantastic because they are learning. They are able to utilize their mind and doing a lot more of analysis. Supposing you are going to be sitting in a class which is going to be teaching, say, Buddhism or some other religions, you'll be able to take some of the values from coming from their religion also. For certain things, you'll say, I'm not going to accept these kinds of things because you are having a capability of absorption, at the same time analysis, and say, I'll agree to this, I will not agree to that. That's what you will do. Similarly, if you are going to be a very smart person, not very smart, if you are going to have a different type of thought process, somebody may also question the discussion that we are having, but they are utilizing their mind. So those kinds of sharpness people are having. So what happens is that the free will is not being utilized by the tamasic person, and he is also not utilizing the knowledge available. He is not utilizing any of his sensory organs in terms of gaining knowledge. So then Bhagavan says, let him become a kind of Muda Yodishu, where there is no need for him to learn anything, where the lower levels of capability for knowing, no free will. So he be getting now dedicated to levels of a plant or a worm or something like that. So depending upon the kind of guna somebody is able to exhibit, they get different types of gati. So all the three gatis are now talked about. One goes to the higher lokas. One is able to stay put to the same loka, like the Rajasi people, or they may also, if they were as a Rajasic person, if they also done lot of selfish act, but destroying some other people, then they may also be delegated to lower levels of order of existence. And Tamasic person will also be put down in terms of their level of existence. They will get into lower levels of life. So that is what now he takes. What is the gati? The third dimension Bhagavan is talking about. Rajasi pralayangatva karma sangishu jagate tata tadinastamasi mudayonishu jagate. So he is now talking about the dimensions in terms of how they will reach different types of things after their death. These two slokas he has covered that. Okay, next.
Sheila Shinde Bhagini.
Karmana sukrutasyahu.
कर्मणः सुकृतस्याहुः कर्मणः सुकृतस्याहुः
सात्विकं निर्मलं फलं
सात्विकं निर्मलं फलं सात्विकं निर्मलं फलं
कर्मणः सुकृतस्याहुः सात्विकं निर्मलं फलं
कर्मणः सुकृतस्याहुः सात्विकं निर्मलं फलं कर्मणः सुकृतस्याहुः सात्विकं निर्मलं फलम्.
Good. Next.
Mrinalini Gopalan Bhagini.
Rajasastu phalam dukkam.
Mrinalini Gopalan Bhagini. Okay, Veena Fanishri Bhagini.
Rajasastu phalam dukkam.
Rajasastu phalan dukkham. Rajasastu phalan dukkham.
You can say pha, not fa. In Sanskrit, there's no fa. It's pha. Pha, pha. Mahaprana. Yeah. Rajasastu phalam dukkam.
Rajasastu phalan dukkham. Rajasastu phalan dukkham.
Ajnanam tamasah phalam.
Ajnanam tamasah phalam. Ajnanam tamasah phalam.
Rajasastu phalam dukkam. Ajnanam tamasah phalam.
Rajasastu phalan dukkham. Ajnanam tamasah phalam. Rajasastu phalan dukkham. Ajnanam tamasah phalam.
Good. Next.
Rajeshwari Shivashankar Bhagini.
Karmana sukrutasyahuhu sattvikam nirmalam phalam.
कर्मणः सुकृतस्याहुः सात्विकं निर्मलं फलम् कर्मणः सुकृतस्याहुः सात्विकं निर्मलं फलम्.
Good. Next.
Kashmira Bhagini.
Rajasastu phalam dukkam ajnanam tamasah phalam.
रजसस्तु फलं दुःखम् अज्ञानं तमसः फलम् रजसस्तु फलं दुःखम् अज्ञानं तमसः फलम्.
Good. Next.
Sharat Chavan Mahodaya.
Karmana sukrutasyahuhu sattvikam nirmalam phalam. Rajasastu phalam dukkam ajnanam tamasah phalam.
कर्मणः सुकृतस्याहुः सात्विकं निर्मलं फलं रजसस्तु फलं दुःखम् अज्ञानं तमसः फलम्.
Good. Next.
Usha Srinivasan Bhagini.
Full sloka.
कर्मणः सुकृतस्याहुः सात्विकं निर्मलं फलं रजसस्तु फलं दुःखम् अज्ञानं तमसः फलम्.
Good. Next.
Anupama Bhatt Bhagini.
कर्मणः सुकृतस्याहुः सात्विकं निर्मलं फलं रजसस्तु फलं दुःखम् अज्ञानं तमसः फलम्.
Good. Next.
Krishna Pavani Bhagini.
कर्मणः सुकृतस्याहुः सात्विकं निर्मलं फलं रजसस्तु फलं दुःखम् अज्ञानं तमसः फलम्.
Okay. You can also try to ensure that the fa you replace by fa. Okay.
Fa.
You sometimes you say fa, sometimes you have tendency to say fa because of Hindi influence. No problem. Okay. Now he is now talking about the what about those people in this life itself. Okay. Sukrutasya karmana, those who are able to do good kind of a work, those people who are sattvika, what is the kind of palam they are going to get? Nirmalam. They are going to have absolute purity. Purity in their thinking, purity in their words, purity in their action. They will be able to have absolutely composed mind. They will be able to control their activity levels, and they will be able to be sharp in terms of getting knowledge, etc. So a person, if he is going to be a sattvika person, with a sattvika being a dominant factor, then he is going to have a nirmalam phalam, absolutely pure. Everything becomes pure for him, thought, deeds, action. And not only that, the presence of a sattvika person will make other people also absolutely calm. If you are going to be sitting with somebody who is a sattvika person, you not only he is calm and quiet and composed and cool demeanor, but he will also be able to pass on those kind of thing in his presence to other people by the way he is able to present himself, by the way he behaves. So karmana hai sukrutasya karmana hai, doing good karma, satvikam, the satvika people, nirmalam phalam, absolutely pure. Their results are pure. In this life itself, they'll be having everything pure. Pure mind, pure thinking, pure action, and pure words, everything will be pure. And they not only are pure themselves, they also ensure that they are able to pass on their purity to the people who are next to them. Rajasastu phalam dukkham. The person who is going to be a rajasic person, his phalam is dukkham. Why is it called dukkham? He has been driven by what? We studied in one of the shlokas earlier. Lobha hai. Yeah, we are not now talking about the selfish rajas person in this particular case. Raja people can be a selfish and selfless, both of them are there. We are talking about selfish rajas person. The selfish rajas person is not at all satisfied with anything. So what happens? Anything comes, he will say, I thought of getting a business of 75 lakhs, but I got only 50 lakhs today. He is going to be dukkham. So whatever he gets, he is not going to be satisfied. There's no contentment coming into him. But he does not understand how does it make his own life and his own family life any different, whether he's going to get 75 lakhs order or 1 crore order today. His family life, everything is perfectly good. Everything is fantastic. There's no problem in terms of the day-to-day living. Everything is very good. Children are very well. But still, the fellows driven by kind of greed and ambition, etc. So always he'll have a discontent. Anything you do, discontent. So that is the kind of rajasastu. If you are going to be a rajasic person, your only problem is, your only phalam will be dukkham. You'll always be dissatisfied. Anything is not good. Nothing will please you in life. Then tamasaha. If you are going to be a person who is going to be tamasic in character, the phalam is going to be ajnanam. Continue to be ignorant. Everything will happen in the world, but this fellow is just ignorant of anything. So depending upon the three gunas, one person is going to continue to make himself elevated by having nirmalam in terms of everything. Absolutely pure soul is going to evolve himself. The other fellow is going to be continuously distraught with distress and dissatisfaction and discontentment. And this fellow is going to be totally ignorant, not understanding anything, no knowledge, dull, lethargic, negligent, and oversighted things, cannot create, cannot do anything good for him, cannot do anything bad, good for society also, waste his entire time That is what is going to be the phalam for a ignorant person. Ajnanam tamasa phalam. Next.
Srimati Bhagini.
Sattva sanjayate jnanam.
Srimati Bhagini. She's not there. Sai Lakshmi Bhagini.
सत्त्वात् संजायते ज्ञानम् सत्त्वात् संजायते ज्ञानम्
Rajaso lobha eva cha.
रजसो लोभ एव च रजसो लोभ एव च
Sattva sanjayate jnanam. Rajaso lobha eva cha.
सत्त्वात् संजायते ज्ञानम् रजसो लोभ एव च सत्त्वात् संजायते ज्ञानम् रजसो लोभ एव च.
Good. Next.
Vijaya Lakshmi Bhagini.
Pramadamohau tamasaha.
प्रमादमोहौ तमसः प्रमादमोहौ तमसः
Bhavato jnanameva cha.
भवतो ज्ञानमेव च भवतो ज्ञानमेव च
Pramadamohau tamasaha. Bhavato jnanameva cha.
प्रमादमोहौ तमसः भवतो ज्ञानमेव च प्रमादमोहौ तमसः भवतो ज्ञानमेव च.
Good. Next.
Rajalakshmi Bhagini.
Sattvat sanjayate jnanam. Rajaso lobha eva cha.
सत्त्वात् संजायते ज्ञानम् रजसो लोभ एव च सत्त्वात् संजायते ज्ञानम् रजसो लोभ एव च.
Veena Fanishri Bhagini.
Pramadamohau tamasaha. Bhavato jnanameva cha.
प्रमादमोहौ तमसः भवतो ज्ञानमेव च प्रमादमोहौ तमसः भवतो ज्ञानमेव च.
Good. Next.
Lalita Bhagini.
Sattva sanjayate jnanam. Rajaso lobha eva cha. Pramadamohau tamasaha. Bhavato jnanameva cha.
Sattva sanjayate jnanam rajaso lobha eva cha pramadamohau tamasaha bhavato jnanameva cha.
Good. Next.
Kashmira Bhagini.
Full
Yes.
shloka.
Yes. सत्त्वात् संजायते ज्ञानम् रजसो लोभ एव च प्रमादमोहौ तमसः भवतो ज्ञानमेव च.
Good. Next.
Sri Lakshmi Bhagini.
सत्त्वात् संजायते ज्ञानं रजसो लोभ एव च प्रमादमोहौ तमसः भवतो ज्ञानमेव च.
Good. So now Bhagavan summarizes whatever he has discussed in the previous slokas. So what is born out of sattva? Sattva sanjayate. Born out of sattva is jnanam. A person will be able to become knowledgeable. He is able to gain knowledge. So at the end of the day, we have understood that a person will be able to realize oneself only when he gets jnanam. Okay. So this particular person has got the right kind of ahankara or sattva ahankara, which is capable of providing him with jnanam. So only when you have sattva guna, you are capable of gaining jnanam. Sattva sanjayate jnanam. Jnanam is born out of sattva guna. Then rajasaha lobha. A person who is going to be rajasic, selfish rajasic person, what is he going to get? He is going to become only greedy and greedy and greedy. Rajasaha lobha. So rajasaha sanjagate lobha. So you can say that for rajasic people, what is going to be born out of them is only greed. Greed is the only thing that they are going to get. Whereas tamasa person, who is going to be the third category of person, pramada. Pramada means negligence, moha, delusion, wrong understanding, ajnanam, ignorant of things. So when he is not even aware of the basic things in life, how do you think that person is going to understand this Bhagavad Gita and Upanishads and various things and get jnanam? So he will only be a person ajnanam. So a tamasa person, if a person is going to be driven by a tamasic guna, then he is going to be negligent, he'll be deluded, wrong understanding, and he'll be an ignorant person also. So sattva sanjayate jnanam, rajasaha loba evacha, pramada moho tamasaha, bhavato ajnanam evacha. So that is the summary that he has given for all the things that he has now talked about so far. I think we'll close at this sloka and then we'll continue tomorrow. Okay. लोभः प्रवृत्तिरारम्भः कर्मणामशमस्पृहा रजस्येतानि जायन्ते विवृद्धे भरतर्षभ अप्रकाशो प्रवृत्तिश्च प्रमादो मोह एव च तमस्येतानि जायन्ते विवृद्धे कुरु नन्दन यदा सत्त्वे प्रवृद्धे तु प्रलये याति देहभृत् तदोत्तमविधान् लोकान् अमलान् प्रतिपद्यते रजसि प्रलयं गत्वा कर्मसङ्गिषु जायते तथा प्रलीनस्तमसि मूढयोनिषु जायते कर्मणः सुकृतस्याहुः सात्विकं निर्मलं फलं रजसस्तु फलं दुःखम् अज्ञानं तमसः फलं सत्त्वा संजायते ज्ञानं रजसो लोभ एव च प्रमादमोहौ तमसः भवतो ज्ञानमेव च ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्तिः 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 हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ